And you would ask them. I'll wait for 7:15 before I give the official welcome. But we are live. If you were not aware, those of you in this room, we are live streaming right now. So if that is an issue, just be aware. But you're not on the camera. I am up here. So no worries there. 7:15. It is time. 7:15. It is time for our Mug Club photo reveal event. Welcome to Hemlock Crossing County Park and to the Nature Center. My name is Curtis Dykstra, and I'm a parks naturalist and program supervisor here at the Nature Center and for Ottawa County Parks. This is an exciting night. I think that there's a big sense of anticipation tonight for what the new mug is going to look like. So I think I'm going to stand up here and talk for a little longer and draw this out. And you know how, when they have to eliminate somebody from Dancing with the Stars, how they just, everything goes silent and there's the drum roll and you're all going, why don't you just tell me? Shall we do that tonight? Break to a commercial. That's it. We'll break to a commercial. So we have a live audience here in the Nature Center, but we've also got an audience online. So thank you for joining us, everybody online. I'm glad you could join us and for this mug reveal event. I probably shouldn't belabor it too much. I'm excited to get this monkey off my back too, because I know I've been living with this for a little while. So this is the 2024 Mug Club Photo Reveal event. Now the confusion is that this was the 2023 photo contest, but to represent the Mug Club for 2024, we have to choose from the 2023 photo contest. So the way that's going to work tonight is between now and about 7:30 or whenever we get done with the photo reveal and the mug reveal, we'll do that, and then afterwards we'll give a presentation here if that person is in the audience, and then afterwards I will give a presentation on telling you some stories from the North Dakota birding road. It's 2 weeks worth of birding stories, so we're going to be here till probably midnight. So hold on. I had to consolidate, obviously, but we'll go over that after a little bit. So let's get started. Mug reveal event. You can watch a video of all 85 entries into our 2023 photo contest online, or just wait one moment and I'll play it here. We had 85 entries that we had to choose from, lots of great photos. Anybody in here, photo contest entrant? Enter a photo, look at all the photo entrants. Awesome. We've got every one of the photos in this video. So we'll watch the video. Anybody watch the video yet? Awesome. If you haven't watched the video, well, enjoy. I'm going to step out of the screen here for a moment. And these are all 85. So all 85 photos have been in the program tonight, right? Let's give a round of applause for all 85. You can pick out the winner here. The winner is on the screen, guarantee you. So let's watch the video of all the entries. Thank you all. You can see just how hard of a process it was to decide. There's some excellent, excellent photos in there. And not only were there some excellent photos, but there were some funny ones too that we had to add in. We didn't put them in the video, but we couldn't leave them out. Right, Noel? Okay. So we've got some Odd Bird Awards here. There's no prize involved, just the honor of having been in the program tonight. First of all, our Odd Bird Award goes to Not Suspicious with a long-tailed pretty bird from coastal Michigan. Anybody recognize the actual bird here? Resplendent Quetzal. There's he's in the room right now. The photographer of this bird is in this room. He's not suspicious at all. It's Noel Medina back here. He thought he'd have a fun time. You can tell we have fun in the office here. And he submitted these 3 photos for us to throw us off. And so now I'm getting them back, and you are famous now for being fraudulent with our photo contest. And the next one is floating headbird. This is Emerald Toucanet. I don't know where that actually was. Costa Rica. Both of these were Costa Rica, I think. And a final one. Now we need to teach you a little bit about biology. Because, first of all, birds don't have hair. They do fly. This is the white hairy bird. It's a bat. Halloween Township, I think you knew what he was doing. So pretty cool. Are these all from Costa Rica? This one too? Yeah. Costa Rica. Okay. There was one other submission that I just had to. I'm not going to put names with it. Just a tree. Okay. But there's 3 photos that go with this. Okay. Just a tree. Just a tree number 2. Okay. Going, what in the world? Photo number 3, still no bird. Tree number 3. So you gotta love a sense of humor, right? How many times have you waited for a bird or looked for a bird and you took a picture and the bird flew away before you took the picture and you just get a picture of a tree, right? You photographers out there, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, well now we gotta get down to some serious business, right? The honorable mentions, and I'm not going to give you anything up front. We're just going to dive right into our 4 honorable mention photos before revealing the winner. And the first honorable mention winner for the 2023 photo contest is Prothonotary Warbler by Ryan Beebe. Ryan is back here too, so let's give Ryan taken at Eastern Gulf Bayou County Park, extra points for taking a picture at a county park, right? The only stipulation is that you have to be in Ottawa County, but we always like to see our county parks on there too. Not that that's not a factor in grading these photos. We actually have a group of us that get together, and we don't know names. Riley organizes everything, so shout out to Riley for organizing it all, getting it all into a PowerPoint, and we go through and we rank them, and we do all, and there's a whole panel of us, so it's not just one person deciding these photos. And so we go through quite a process. It's a fun afternoon when we do it, but it can be painstaking. But no, we don't consider the person's name or the location other than it has to be in Ottawa County. So congratulations, Ryan, as honorable mention with the Prothonotary Warbler. The second honorable mention is Lucas Timmer with Eastern Kingbird with a wasp in its mouth. They're fantastic shot taken historic Ottawa Beach County Park. Hey, another one. And I don't believe he's here. He might be online. Lucas, if you're online, text us. Let us know you're there. Congratulations to you on your honorable mention of the Eastern Kingbird. Number 3, Andrew Byerly and Eastern Bluebird, taken in the backyard in West Olive here. So congratulations to Andrew Byerly. Is Andrew here tonight? Andrew, if you're online too, congratulations to you on your fantastic photo of an Eastern Bluebird. So crisp and in the habitat, really fantastic photos. And our next honorable mention, Carl Manning and Green Heron, taken at the Zealand High School wetlands here in Ottawa County. So congratulations to Carl Manning. Fantastic creeping shot here, action shot. And I chatted with Carl and Judy that they were had to double dip on programs tonight, so I knew they'd be tuning into this. So they're online. Congratulations, Carl, on another honorable mention. He's been honorable mentioned I don't know how many times, but congratulations. Fantastic shot, action shot of this green heron. He told me that he was going to favor this live stream versus the other live stream, which I made a mistake in scheduling this a year ago. I scheduled this a year ago so that it was in the calendar that we handed out last year, and wasn't realizing it was the third Tuesday of the month, and the third Tuesday of the month is Washtenaw Islands Audubon Club Night. Not only that, but those of you who know me know that I go on birding trips with a certain guy named Mike. He's the speaker tonight. We had a little back and forth today, friendly, but you know. So he's speaking tonight, and I hope that if you're here tonight or tuning into us online, that you tune into the Washtenaw Islands Audubon Club YouTube channel, where they'll be posting tonight's meeting. I think it's on live on Facebook tonight too, so it's going on right now. Don't stay here, stay here. But he's going to be talking about his pursuit of finding and photographing the 19 species of owls in North America in 1 year. So I've seen it twice. He wasn't too mad that I didn't go see it again. He may or may not mention me in that program too, because we do birding together. So, but are you ready for the photo contest winner? Here's that pause. Commercial break. Okay. Drum roll, please, because the 2023 photo contest winner is Kate Warbler at Historic Ottawa County Park. Fantastic crisp shot, just a poser of a bird. Kate May Warbler taken in mid-May here in Ottawa County. Congratulations, Jeannie, on your fantastic photo. And I think that means it is time to reveal the mug, right? Why don't we turn? And in a moment, I'm going to have Jeannie come up to the front. And you want to know what? I ran into Jeannie twice after we did the judging. And I kept my mouth shut, didn't I? I didn't say anything, did I?
You asked me, but you asked me that every year.
Right. So we ran into each other. I'm like, oh, are you going to come? So, and then when she said yes, I was like, yes, she's going to be there. So without further ado, the mugs. And we'll show it right up here. Close. I don't know if that's in focus or not, but cool. Our new mug. And Jeannie, would you come up and can you actually get us with a photo here?
Chris, I have my camera.
Do you?
Yep.
I took that one on my birthday too.
On your birthday? Well, that's really special. That's incredible. Taken on the birthday. So congratulations, Jeannie. And here is your mug. Why don't we don't cover up that fantastic photo.
I took a million.
All right, cool. And this is for you, and I will get you your little marker too. So you get the first mug as our winner. You also don't go yet. You also get this lovely bird feeder. This is for you, as well as a bag of bird seed, courtesy to Brian Seed Company. They donated the gifts that we'll be giving out this year to Brian Seed in Zealand. These are fantastic cedar, handmade bird feeders. So, yeah, you put it on a post. Yeah, yeah. This is big enough. I don't think you want to hang it unless you got a really hefty branch. But the other things that Jeannie wins is free registration in one of our birding field trips this year, so you can redeem that. And she gets to help me choose a date and location for spring and fall bird walk. So this is your reminder of that, and we'll have to work out details on that. But she gets a free membership and mug and feeder and food, and so congratulations again. So like I said, Mug Club membership, bird pin. You can choose a bird pin a little later too if you want. And then we've got a bird feeder. You can help schedule the member bird walks and a free birding field trip. They're all listed there. I had to include this because Eric, he's one of my coworkers. He works in the operations department and he oversees the building here. And we've gotten into this thing where he poses with the mug every time we get them, but before they're released to the public. So did you all see this photo get sent out to you? Was it tempting? Oh, what is it? So now we can unveil the mug. He is actually holding it. See, I wasn't faking it. So Eric Fritheld, if you see him out there, tell him thank you and for a great job that he does in maintaining our parks here in the South District of Ottawa County. We've got 4 different park supervisors out there doing a fantastic job keeping up our parks. So thank you to him. I'd like to include him. I don't know if he's on the live stream. I talked to him today. He's not here in the audience, but thank you for being our model for the mug, Eric. Okay. Last year we had calendars. We didn't have them at this event, nor do we have them tonight. However, I got word from our calendar maker that there's going to be calendars again this year. So we did not do it internally. What we decided to do is offer to the elves at the Career Line Tech Center's Environmental Field Studies program to have the project and design this year's calendar, or next year's calendar. And they have been completed, however, they are not in stock yet. So, but this is the cover, apparently. That's the photo she sent, that the teacher sent me, April Weers. And it will be available at December's event for $25. And the proceeds go to OAISD. It's not the OIAS, which is the Washington Island. I always get those two confused. And to Career Line Tech Center. And so we were really excited to involve those students in the project. And what we did is we sent them a bunch of we voted on some of our favorite photos. So we didn't overload them with all 86. That was a little bit much. But we gave them quite a few of our favorite photos. And we said, we have to put these 5 in there. The honorable mention and the winner are all in the calendar, but there's 12 months in a year. So that means there's space for more. And that means we get more revealing tonight. So, drum roll please, we're gonna reveal our calendar pictures tonight. First of all, Lene Roon with Blackburnian Warbler. This is a female Blackburnian Warbler. And John Dykstra with Blue Jay. Are either of them, I know John Dykstra's here, I was talking to him. John Dykstra is here, congratulations. And is Lene Roon here? No? Well, let's give a round of applause. Fantastic photos. And the next, we've got Kevin Povens with Baltimore Oriole. Obviously, I think that's a red bud, so obviously that's May there. And then we've got a black-throated green warbler in the bath here. I love the action shot. Fantastic photo, fantastic choice by the students. All of these are fantastic choices. And there were others that could have been fantastic too, but you have to only do 12. And also, Semi-Palmated Clover by Lonnie Garris here, and American Crow by Doug Piper. It goes a long way to say that, I think birds like the American Crow kind of get discriminated against. But when we saw this photo, I thought that's a fantastic photo, and the students chose this one. I love it. And this great shot of the Semi-Palmated Plover by Lonnie Garris. Congratulations. So this is the first time I think we've had a crow as one of the winners, and I think it's a fantastic choice too. So, we got to give a round of applause. Oh, and I think, yes, we do have, well, I don't think, is Lonnie here? Lonnie's not here. Are you online? If you're online, say hello. And Doug is here. Why don't you raise your hand, Doug, and say congratulations. Doug also took the picture of the red-headed woodpecker that was on our mug 2 years ago. So, and the last one is Fox Sparrow by none other than Rick Feldman. And Rick Belbin is the one who helped us through COVID doing our live streaming in there. So he submitted a couple. Students chose Fox Sparrow. I think it's a fantastic photo as well. So that rounds out all of the non-winner calendar pictures. You can see that there's the other calendar entries on here are the winners as well. So congratulations to our calendar winners. I guess I could call that too. Let's give a round of applause for everybody. Okay. I think we're getting to the end of this. Yes, we are. So what I want to say is this is a segue into Coffee with the Birds coming up on the 9th of December. We're going to have a feeder watching session at 9:30. At 10:30, I'll be giving a presentation in here. And then at 11:10 a.m., we'll do another feeder watching session. There'll be coffee and donuts, and we'll have volunteers from the Career Line Tech Center again. Right now, unfortunately, we are still working out kinks with the live stream. And I am going to give just an apology to everybody on that because we've been set back basically 2 years because our grant money didn't work out. We had our grant money, but the company that we worked with did not work out. And so we've been set back quite a ways on trying to get that set up. So we're going to work our best to see if we can provide something, but we don't have the equipment anymore to do that. And actually what we were working on was not the equipment that the company we were working with was providing. That was Riley right here. So I want to just give a big shout out to Riley for doing that last year, and hopefully we can work something out this year. So thank you, Riley. So more information on live stream to come, and we'll see if we can get that to work out. And here we go. Upcoming dates: December 9th, January 20th, February 17th, and March 16th are our dates. And of course, in March, we'll do the bird profile on the Cape May warbler, which is only found in Cape May, New Jersey. No. If you want to find out more about birding in Ottawa County, go to miottawa.org/birding, and you can find all kinds of local resources, videos, Coffee with the Birds information, Mug Club information there. Please do check it out if you have not already. And that's where you can go to find all of the live streams that are put out there. If you don't get the emails that I send out monthly, you can sign up for the emails at this website too. So I do encourage you to do that. December 9th, that's when we'll be meeting. And we'll be doing a photo contest winners stories. So those of you who are the winners and the honorable mentions, you're going to be getting a phone call or an email from me. Just try to set up a date between now and well before then to have an interview telling your stories of how you took the photo you did. And we'll hopefully have that video ready to go by the time the 9th of December comes around, which is not long from now. Okay. A little bit of information on, and I'm going to exit out of this one, and I'm going to go to my next slide here. The mugs. Those of you who have pre-purchased your mugs, raise your hand. How many mugs do we have? Okay, we've got quite a few. On your way out, make the process really easy for these folks at the back. Izzy back here from the Career Line Tech Center is joining Noel. Helping out with things tonight, so thank you, Izzy, for being here. And they're going to be handing out your mugs. If you pre-purchased it, that's the best. We can just check your name off and hand your mug to you. So on your way out tonight, make sure you do that. If you have not already purchased it, you can work things out with Noel back here. But we are highly encouraging you to purchase it online. If you haven't yet purchased it and you want one tonight, you can even just go onto your phone and purchase it that way. So if you get our emails, the information is there. If you go onto that website there and you go to the Mug Club link, you can find the information there and purchase yourself a mug. And if you show up on the list, well, they'll give you a mug. So it's just much easier for us to manage that. My voice is already going away. I haven't done this in a little bit. So, and a thank you to the Friends of Ottawa County Parks, who provided us with the cider and hot chocolate tonight. They will also be providing us at each of the Coffee with the Birds. So thank you to the Friends of Ottawa County Parks. And thank you, Mug Club members. Anybody here with Mug Club with your mug tonight? I didn't say bring your mug. I should have. That's on me. I didn't say it. But Mug Club members, thank you very much for your support of this program. Couldn't do it without you. And thank you for your continued support with another membership this year. So we really encourage you to do that because it helps us to fund this program as well as feeding birds at the feeder. And it's been a great way that we can work it out, involve you in what we do here, and hopefully serve you better too. So thank you, Mug Club members, for your contribution. Okay. It's kind of hard to come down off of that high of seeing the new mug. But I didn't want you to just come out here to do the short program on revealing the mug and all go home. You're making a lot of effort to come out here. So I was like, I got to tell them the birding story. I love to tell my birding stories. And I hope that in telling these stories, it helps to motivate you to also have and make stories of your own. To get out there, get on the road, go see birds or whatever it is. And engage with the natural world. I interpret the natural world through my pursuit of birds. But along the way, there's so much more than just birds, as you'll see. There's a lot of fun of it, experiences and culturally and just the whole beauty of everything that I see and experience. It's things I wouldn't trade. So hopefully this can help you guys to pursue those same things, even right here in Ottawa County by going out to our parks, but even traveling further, whether it be in the United States or abroad. So that's why I love to share these stories, and hopefully you can catch the fire there too, and want to do something like this. So this story is 2 weeks birding to North Dakota and back. You ready? 2 weeks. Okay. 2 weeks in about 45 minutes. Can you do that? Okay, so first of all, North Dakota. People say to me, well, North Dakota? Why would you go to North Dakota? Well, I've got my answers. Here's the idea. This is where the idea came about. I had been to, and if you saw my presentation last year on going to North Carolina, you know that I have pursued going to every state in the United States. And at the end of that program, I said, I only have 2 states left. What states were they? Anybody? You remember? You have a really good memory if you remember. Hawaii. And?
North Dakota.
North Dakota. So I had some time this summer to just go and experience the birds and hit the road on my own, have a little free time after a long spring of busyness here. It's nice for me to get away and have some of my own time. And so I was going to pursue my 49th state right here. You can see I've been to all these states except for Hawaii and North Dakota. Then I also started this thing on my North Carolina trip, if you remember, that, I got 50 birds pretty quickly that morning in Mississippi when I was taking the detour over to North Carolina. I wonder if I could get 50 birds in 50 states. And I started on that trip trying to log up to 50 birds in all the states that I visited. And I got pretty far that trip. Kentucky I had already gone through, so I couldn't add that one, but I even dipped back up into Tennessee and got 50 birds from all. I lived in North Carolina. I have over 50 birds in that state. But I got 50 birds for a lot of states. Most of the states over here, you can see Kentucky's a little lighter. And so I thought, I gotta get my 50 birds for this state. And there's a few other states out here, South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana. I could add those on too. And besides that, North Dakota is famous for a couple of different species. Well, more than just a couple, but in particular, birds that I have never seen: chestnut collared longspur and Baird's sparrow. And so I thought it'll be fun to pursue that and see whatever else I see along the way. So I told you I travel with Mike, right? We often do these long weekend trips. We did a long weekend trip to South Texas in 2018, 2015. Yeah, that's me with saguaro cactus. He's laughing at me now. That's a different picture. He's actually pointing at Trogan. in the tree there in Arizona, southeast Arizona. And then we took a longer trip in 2021 to Alaska. And so I said, oh, Mike, if we consider where we're going to go for a next trip, I'm going to throw North Dakota out there. And he's like, North Dakota? If I'm going to take the time to go birding and maybe get an airline ticket or drive really far, I think I'm going to go somewhere other than North Dakota. Okay, so he shot that one down. So I said, I'm going to have to figure out a way to do this on my own. He didn't have 2 weeks to take. Suddenly I'm like, wait a second. I've got about 2 weeks time to do that. I'm going to just go to North Dakota. Mike doesn't want to go. This is all me. So I hopped in the car and went. And tonight, yeah, Mike is razzing me for a few things in his owl presentation, but I'm going to razz him about saying no to North Dakota. And he can see what he missed out on. He actually has some sound reasoning in that if you're going to buy an airline ticket to go somewhere for a birding trip, would you choose North Dakota or would you choose somewhere else? So I get it. But so I'm on my own. And I decided to take the way north. I took the bridge across to the UP, I hit Highway 2, and I headed west. Highway 2 goes all the way out and across North Dakota. It goes through the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, through Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, actually goes out into Montana, and I believe beyond. It might even go all the way to the West Coast. So I made some stops, and I realized, oh, my eBird, I've got this thing where I want at least 20 birds for every county in Michigan. It's a way to get out to see different areas of the state that I've never been to. So it's not just a numbers thing. It's actually a way to motivate me to experience new places and new birds and new habitat, things like that. So I said, boy, I got this big blank spot across the UP. I wonder if I can cruise through and get that. So the first day, I hit a couple of 2, 3, 4 of the counties, and then I went camping at Veterans Park somewhere, I can't even remember where that was. Manistee, I think, somewhere around that area. And I had researched this, $10 camping. You could just pull in, you could throw your money in the slot, like perfect. $10, I set up camp, and there's this whole couple of campsites full of people, young kids, loud music. This is not cool. It was a graduation party. So I'm like, well, what do you do? I put my earplugs in. And I try to fall asleep, and too much noise. Finally, in the middle of the night, I must have fallen asleep, and I wake up, and I hear this noise, and it is not the people in the party. It is an eastern whippoorwill. And that eastern whippoorwill was sitting in the tree, from the way I could hear it, right over the campsites of those high school students, bugging the snot out of them. And I said, you go, whippoorwill. Paybacks are sweet. Because I can imagine that every one of them was like totally ready to sleep on into noon the next day. And they had a whippoorwill at like 1 or 2 in the morning. It was probably 2 in the morning, calling right over the campsite. So lots of fun experience at Veterans Park, camping for $10. And Bond Falls, this is Bond Falls here, which is toward the western border here. And actually I went up into, did I even put that on? Oh, it's in Ontonagon County here. So I actually went up and over the county border here to Bond Falls to see the falls and also to see some birds. So, and I added Ontonagon County too. Beautiful if you've never been to Bond Falls. It's a beautiful spot in the western UP. Then of course, if you're traveling through Minnesota, you gotta stop near Duluth at Sax-Zim Bog. And I decided to spend 2 nights there and 1 full day of birding, and birding in the evening and the morning of the sandwich days. Because I wanted to see a great gray owl. That's the guy on the sign there. I'm like, if I'm going through this area on Highway 2, I'm going to just take a jog off and see if I can get a great gray owl and some other boreal specialties. That means birds that live in the boreal forest that you don't normally see down here. And on the morning I was about to leave, so I had been there a day and a half already. It was the 3rd day. was driving down the road. I was not really thinking I was going to get one. It's pretty hard to get them in June. And all of a sudden, I was driving along, and every tuft at the top of these trees over here looks like an owl. You see that? I've done that many times, looking for owls, whether it be northern hawk owl or gray owl. You look at it, oh, is that one? Is that one? And all of a sudden, there was one that was different shaped than the other. And it had that half dome shape on the head. And I slammed on the brakes, and I ripped the door open, and I looked out at the silhouette of a great gray owl sitting right over here on one of these trees. I believe it was this one right here. He got up as soon as I stopped. I was a distance off of him. He was on a mission. He wasn't sitting around. So I did not get any photos, no video. You have to believe me. He flew across the scene like this and disappeared across the road. He actually perched right behind this tree so I couldn't see him. And then by the time I was getting in a position that I could have seen him, then he took off again. He flew across the road, and I just stood there and just watched him glide silently by off into the boreal forest. Incredible. Only the second time I've ever seen that species. First time was in 2006, I think, in the UP of Michigan. So fantastic. And not only that, but I got a couple other boreal species along the way. Connecticut warbler, feeding youngsters with caterpillars in the mouth. Blackback woodpecker here too. So a lot of fun seeing species that I don't normally get to see around here that a lot of people go to Sax-Zimbock to see. And there are those that go there to see them and don't see them. That was me. I actually made a trip to Sax-Zimbock with my wife several years. This has been a few years, maybe 2015. 700 miles up and 700 miles back, having missed one by about 30 seconds. Oh, this was sweet justice. It was only a 30-second view, or maybe less, but it was worth it. I wasn't going to get skunked twice. So, drive through Minnesota, cross that river into North Dakota, get state number 49 on my state checklist, and bird my way across in one day. By nighttime, I was in western North Dakota at Lostwood National Wildlife Refuge. Of course, I made a few stops along the way, but my goal, my major North Dakota birding destination, was Lostwood National Wildlife Refuge. It's way up in northwest North Dakota. And you say, well, why in the world? I mean, you just see it's just all grasslands. Exactly. It's the best place to find these two birds. That's why I'm going there, right? Chestnut collared longspur, Baird sparrow, and I did my research. And when you look at I just love looking. I couldn't get enough of looking at Google Maps, because this whole swath of prairie pothole region is exactly where Lostwood National Wildlife Refuge is. This is the main highway here, but there's a road, wildlife drive that goes right through the center of it. Fantastic, beautiful birds, beautiful scenery, just incredible. It's some of the largest tracts of grassland left in the United States. I guarantee you would love it if you go. If you're in that region, just find yourself in northwest North Dakota for some reason, miles from anywhere, go here. I camped out down here and over here at a campground there. I'll get to that in a minute. So I looked at this, I'm like, that looks fantastic. I'm gonna go there. I did my research on eBird like any good birder, and I'm looking up Baird sparrow, and I see George Armstead. I'm like, oh yeah. George Armstead is a well-known birder and tour guide leader who knows his stuff. I mean, if you're a birder, been around the block for a few years, you know the name George Armstead. I'm like, I clicked on that, and he had Baird sparrow, he had Sprague's pipit, he had chestnut collared longspur, a few others. I'm like, that's totally where I'm going. I see right where he was, and that's where I went. But first I had to get there. Smishak Lake Recreation Area. I arrived at night. This is me pulled off the side of the road because I had just seen a short-eared owl fly over. That's not Smishak Lake, but it kind of looks like it. But you can see it was dark. I pulled into the campground, and this is what I saw. No camping allowed on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, holidays excluded. No campers, tents, or camping equipment may be left on wildlife management area on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Like, what? Guess what night it was? Tuesday. I was irate, and I'm like, forget that. It is way past my bedtime. I am in the middle of nowhere where there is no availability of anything for me to find right now. I am setting up my camp. And I did. Yes, I'm going to prove something to somebody. This makes no sense. What in the world are you doing? So there I am. I pulled in and there was nobody in the camp. That was my first clue that something wasn't right. It's like, maybe they don't go camping around here. And then I saw the sign, and then I woke up the next morning and I saw it was devoid of people. Well, it was devoid of people except for one. This guy in the mower over here. Actually, two. There was another guy who was spraying for invasive species. He said, oh yeah, you should, no problem. You can camp there. And then this guy mowing grass that's shorter than my hair. Okay. I guess he just had to make a paycheck somehow. So it was so dry. There was no grass to cut, but he was cutting it nonetheless. He pulled up and he said to me, I'm the caretaker here at the campground, but I'm like, oh, what's the deal with this Tuesday, Wednesday thing? And I'm like, well, first of all, am I going to get a ticket or something? Well, the wildlife guy, he's one of those young bucks that will give anybody a ticket. So you're taking a chance. I don't give out the tickets. He gives out the tickets. You're taking a chance if you stay here. He's likely to come over and give you a ticket. No questions asked. I'm like, oh, great. He's like, oh, but you know what? I heard he was off today. I'm like, oh, okay. But that doesn't mean he won't come. I'm like, which is it? So I decided to stay. I said, I'm not going to mess around. But before that, I actually got the explanation for why they close on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. It's because of the North Dakota oil field boomtown effect. So there was an oil boom, still is an oil boom in northwest North Dakota. And people moved from all over the United States to that area of North Dakota to work in the oil fields. And these state recreation area campgrounds, which were really cheap to camp at, it was like less than $10 a night. And like it was really cheap. Where did they set up camp at? They started setting up camp at all of these state recreation areas and staying. So all the locals couldn't camp. And so the state got really frustrated and said, okay, we're shutting down the campgrounds on Tuesdays and Wednesdays to prevent people from staying there too long and allowing them, the locals, to be able to do that. If you break apart their camping, they're not going to want to stay, and they're going to set up places like this. And they did. They set up towns like this of trailers for all their workers to live in because there wasn't enough housing for everybody. Still an issue. It's still part of the culture there. Really unique dynamic to the culture out there. And you see these oil rigs all over the place. And any truck, you didn't run into cars, you ran into trucks. So any truck you run into, and here I am in my little blue Hyundai, on the back roads of North Dakota, they were all oil workers. And so then I was like, okay, I can sympathize with that. But you know what? I don't fit that mold. So I'm going to stay here and say, look, if I get a ticket, I am going to talk to your representative and say, this makes no sense. I came from Michigan to camp here, and guess what? I never did get a ticket. He didn't come, didn't get a ticket, but I had an interesting experience. And I left this note in my stake. Hello, I'm visiting from Michigan to go birding at Lostwood National Wildlife Refuge. Website with North Dakota Tourism said nothing about Tuesday, Wednesday closure, and it didn't. Please allow me to stay tonight as I'll leave tomorrow for Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Thank you for understanding. Well, it ends up being that I stayed 2 nights instead of 1. And still didn't get a ticket. But I thought, this makes enough sense. Any sensible person, if they still give me a ticket, I'm talking to the legislator. Yeah, I was serious about that. So then I go birding. And this is the first spot that I had seen on the, eBird that actually had chestnut collared longspur and Baird sparrow both. And this was like a couple of miles around the corner from the campground. before even getting to the National Wildlife Refuge. I'm like, well, I might as well give myself as many chances as possible. I'll stop by there first before I go to the National Wildlife Refuge. I stopped here, and guess what? Chestnut collared longspur. Singing, chasing each other around in the grass, running around in the grass, and not only that, sitting right on the barbed wire fence. Couldn't be better, posing right up there for me. Just beautiful. Here's that's my favorite. Shows all the markings, you know. Chestnut collared longspur. Why do they call them a longspur? Take a look at that longspur down there. Really long back claw toe on the nail on the toe. So that's where they get the name chestnut collared longspur. Not only that, but in the distance and soon up close, I heard, oh, I'm going to play a little video for you. This is from my video series. Some of you may have seen this. Footage of, I'm not showing you the whole video. Okay, I'm going to just show you this segment right here. Sound a little bit like a meadowlark, western meadowlark. Look a little bit like a clown. You got so many cool patterns on their face and on their head. I dressed like this bird for the Picnic with the Birds, which was anybody here was at the Picnic with the Birds? I dressed like this guy right here. We dressed like birds with our outfits. So, I gotta say, no, we don't have to watch all that right now. But if you want to watch more, you can, and I'll tell you how you can do that a little bit later. But we all dressed up, and I dressed up as that. That was fun. We just had outfits that kind of matched the color schemes of the birds. If you want to be able to go to the Picnic with the Birds, guess who gets to go? Mug Club members. You buy one of those mugs and a membership, and we do that every July, usually the latter half of July. We take an evening, and we go to Hager Park, and we have a picnic with everybody. So it's a fun time. If you're a member, you can also attend. Barred Sparrow also showed up for a fleeting second here. I got a couple of pictures as he sat there staring at me like, what are you doing here? And then he turned. I got the pattern on the face. I said, gotcha. I had been hearing him sing. Then he popped up on the fence, gave me great looks. And the next day, I actually got to see them even better. So here he is. I've got footage of him singing. So here's another little video clip. Doesn't get any better than to see the birds in their habitat singing. This is actually, what is it, alfalfa? I think it's actually an alfalfa field. So, you won't watch me talk. You're already watching me talk. You don't need two of me talking. Then I took a couple of drives down the scenic drive, and this is the scenic drive in a nutshell right here. Absolutely beautiful, rolling grassy green hills, prairie potholes with all kinds of waterfowl on it, birds everywhere. I was stopping every 50, 100 yards, taking pictures of birds like upland sandpiper. This bird turned into a trash bird. They were everywhere, and they were perching up just perfectly for everybody to see. And that, you don't find these guys that easily around here. So it was fantastic to see upland sandpiper. I had a Wilson snipe calling on a fence post right there. I was just sitting in my car going and taking videos. Here's the Sprague's pipit that had been reported by other birders on the west side of the National Wildlife Refuge, right out on the road. Grasshopper sparrows everywhere. Clay-colored sparrows, too, were very numerous. Brewer's blackbirds were your default blackbird, flying around in the fields out there. Eastern kingbird. Oh, we were pretty far west for the eastern kingbird. So guess what? We had eastern and we had western kingbird together. It was fun. This guy actually was camped out in my campsite. And the night I got there, I actually had I almost forgot about this. I had the lights shining in the bushes and everything, and I'm setting up my tent and my headlights and whatever. And this bird got paybacks on me. Because at like 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, guess what he did? Started singing. And they don't sing like gentle songs. They're like, and he was all over my camp. I was just like, okay, I get it. I messed with you last night. You're messing with me now. So I got paybacks too. Lots of waterfowl out there, often distant, but sometimes up close. This is a lesser stop that breed there. All the waterfowl that we see here coming through in migration, like they're all breeding out there. And it's fantastic to see. I love seeing birds here in Ottawa County, but I also love experiencing them in the places where they nest. If they're a migrant here or they're a wintering bird here, to go to the place where they actually breed, it's fantastic. We get tree sparrows all winter long, and I think I had that same experience when I went to Alaska and there were tree sparrows breeding, singing. All when you go to those places where those birds are that they don't breed around here, a lot of fun. That includes this guy, the ruddy duck. And this picture doesn't do it justice, because this is actually not the picture. This is actually a video. And I'm going to turn this up. Listen real close. Does this? You hear that little? My microphone was a little far away, but he pats his breast there, and then it shakes and rattles the water, and he does this little at the end. I'm going to play it one more time. It's just too much fun. Oops. We'll get to you in a minute. No. Okay, here we go. Listen. Bluebills. You got the big bluebill on them. And did you hear that bird at the end? Anybody know what that is? I already gave you a clue because I skipped ahead. Yellow-headed blackbird was pretty common in the marshes there. So this guy just sat on this post, and then it must have been the throne, because then another one came and chased it off and sat on the post. Lots of fun to watch. And western meadowlarks, more than you could count, everywhere. Redneck grebe, not a great photo, but I did see a baby in here, but this picture doesn't show it. But there was a little chick swimming around with it. And sun set at Lostwood National Wildlife Refuge on the Scenic Drive. I spent the evening of the first day there. After I had seen my 2 lifer birds, before I even got to the wildlife refuge, I went back to camp and I rested for a little bit. I was pretty tired. And then in the evening light is when I went back to the wildlife refuge and did the wildlife drive and took some of those photos and watched the sun go down. Early morning and late evening, all of those photographers are like, I know that. But fantastic for lighting and for the bird activity. And so the night came, and this then leads into Wednesday night. So the guy had warned me, the guy on the mower, that, midnight on Wednesday night, that's then Thursday morning, you're going to see a bunch of people come into the campground to claim their spots at midnight. Like, what? Are you kidding me? No, he wasn't. In fact, I looked at my watch and I'm like, it is not midnight. It is 10 p.m. They're 2 hours early. They're violating the rules. Oh, wait, I am too. And here they are moving in, truck after truck after truck, with trailer after trailer after trailer. This guy moved in right next to me. There's my tent. There's his trailer. I got to talking to them, and they were all cool about me being there. I'm like, yeah, I decided to stay another night, and I hope that's okay. And this was actually, so I was there Tuesday night. This is Wednesday night. So this is the end of the first day that I was there. I was like, he was totally cool with me being there. He thought he had this spot. And the spot just on the other side was the playground, so his kids could go to the playground. He was like, yeah, I don't mind this little tent being there for the next, night. So this is what the scene looked like the next morning. An empty campground full. He gave me space. That was nice. I was like, okay, this is cool. And then here's the whole line. What do you not see in this picture? The trucks. They're gone. Here's a little video. There's one truck. Oh, there's a truck. There's a truck. Where'd all the trucks go? They dropped off their trailers and went home. Midnight. They got their spot. Campground's full. Oh, wait. No, it's not full. Because, you know, that guy on the mower, he has a son who works in the oil fields. And he, you know, didn't feel like he had to be there at midnight to get a spot. Because Dad was going to give it to him. Right there. I came back on Thursday night. In the evening. Is that how that went? I don't know. It was a little later on that second evening. So this is actually Thursday evening. I pull in and I'm like, what is going on here? Here's this big truck. I had made friends with this guy, you know, we were talking to us. He was all excited that I was there to see the birds from Michigan, blah, blah, blah. This is this guy's truck here. The guy on the mower was there directing his son to back the trailer up right between him and me. The awning would have come down over my tent. What am I going to say? Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm leaving in the morning, you know. Okay, we won't set up the awning till you leave. Oh, okay. They leave. This guy comes out. He's like, well, I won't repeat what he said. I don't think that would be appropriate. He was not happy. This guy came in, and that's nepotism at its purest form. Daddy runs the campground. I'm going to back my trailer up right here, plop right in the middle. This guy's kids couldn't get to the playground unless they run around. Oh, I stayed out of it. I'm neutral in this. Don't get me in the middle. A little bit about North Dakota camping culture. So if you go to North Dakota, remember, Tuesday and Wednesday might be your best day to pick out a campsite. Don't show up on Wednesday or Thursday morning. So I decided that it was time to leave that spot. That was, again, I was putting Lostwood National Wildlife Refuge as kind of my focal for tonight. But I wanted to go over some of the other spots that I went to along the way too, and we won't spend as much time at each of these. But I was close enough to the Montana border, and you know that it was blank in my eBird map, right? So I went across the border, and there was a little wildlife refuge, and I found my way around, and I found this lake, Salt Flat Lake, covered in American avocets and Wilson's phalaropes. Just hundreds, if not thousands of them out on the lake. And it was fantastic. I was just on cloud nine. And it was not that long, 3 hours maybe. And I was to 50 in these wetlands there in North Dakota. So you think North Dakota and Montana, not a whole lot of birds in those open grasslands. Well, I made it work. I got my 50 and I said, okay, time to head on down to Theodore Roosevelt National Park, which was my next goal. Here's Theodore. Oh, excuse me.
Those aren't birds.
No, those aren't birds. I meant to actually have on here Theodore Roosevelt National Park. That's what this. I thought I had. You know what? Hold on a second. I know what I did. Oh well. No big deal. I accidentally deleted a slide, but that's fine. It was only a picture of me at the entrance to the park. You know, the national park sign. I went to this park not just for the birds, because there weren't really any lifer birds that I was going to find here. There were some birds that I don't get to see very often because I'm that far west and such. I wanted to go and see the beauty of the park. I had heard from my parents who had visited there that it's not to be missed. And so I did. This is the North Dakota Badlands. And if I were to choose a Badlands to visit, again, it would be hands down the North Dakota Badlands, Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Absolutely stunningly gorgeous. One of the most beautiful places I've ever visited. And I'm not just saying that. It was fantastic. I almost died, but I actually enjoyed my stay there. If you watch my video, you know what I'm saying. I got severely dehydrated on a hike when I ran out of water. And then when I finally rested enough and was going to make my way to the parking lot, I had bison on the trail in between me and the end. It was the most dehydrated I've ever been. I was in bad shape. So you'll see it on the video, my face is entirely beet red. It was not fun, but I made it. Obviously, I'm here. So I did a nice long hike. It was about an 8-mile hike. I was birding along the way and just seeing all the sights. Beautiful. That evening, when I'd recovered, the bison just came across the scene as I was driving along with this in the back. And they were crossing the road in front of me, so I had to stop. And then I said, you know what? Click, click. Just postcard beauty everywhere you look. It's not the mountain grandeur of, the Rockies or things like that, but it's a rugged beauty like I've never seen. And scenes like this give me chills every time I look at the photo. And I sat on this rock, and there were about 8 or 10 other people at this overlook. And it was perhaps the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I'm like, this is a national park, and there's like 8 or 10 people here watching this. And I just sat there and just took it in. Like, it was pretty emotional watching this beautiful scene, because this is the Little Missouri River down here. This is only a segment of my view. The sun was setting behind me, and I had fantastic sunset views, and the low light was lighting up these rocks here. And I didn't need birds to make me happy. This was one of the most beautiful scenes I've ever seen. But of course there were birds too. And I decided to throw at least one bird in there that teed up for me the most of any of the birds that I had there. And that is the lazuli bunting, unique, we don't get them around here. They're like our indigo bunting, but they're red, white, and blue. And this guy teed up for me. And they were all over the place. Hard to get pictures of, but this guy was cooperative. And so there was beauty, there were bison, and there were birds at Theodore Roosevelt National Park. And this is the north unit, by the way, that I was visiting. I also went to the south unit, which is really close to I-94, and everybody stops. If they're I-94 going through, they stop at the south unit, and they're like, oh, this is Theodore Roosevelt National Park. No, drive an hour north. Go to the north unit. Absolutely worth it. A lot less people and a lot more, I think it's a lot more beautiful. So I had set my sight on actually 5 birds initially going out to North Dakota. And I knew that my transition between the national park and going down to South Dakota was going to be my chance to see 2 of these 5. So this is not a life bird for me. It was a long-billed curlew, but it was something I really wanted to see. Greater sage-grouse is another one that I really wanted to see that would have been a life bird for me, and there were leks in the area, but leks are busy in spring, and it was summer, so I wasn't real hopeful, but I thought if I drive enough of the habitat, got to run into them somewhere. I had already seen these 2, and this one, the mountain plover, we'll talk about in a minute. That's a Wyoming bird. Okay, so I was looking for these guys as I drove from Theodore Roosevelt National Park to the Black Hills of South Dakota, which is my next stop. From the title, you know that I didn't see those. This was my Dakota double dip. I dipped on both those species. I drove miles, got stopped by flooding. I had to turn around, make all kinds. I may or may not have, on those really straight paved roads that you can see for miles, hit triple digits on my speedometer. May or may not. Yeah, my daughter's looking at me like, what? I had a lot of fun there's a whole story, you can watch the video, but I did not get them, but I did give myself something. I got myself a double dip at the Dairy Queen. When I came into Spearfish, South Dakota, I'm like, I've got to go to Dairy Queen. And it was right on the main drag on the way out of town. I'm like, oh, I'm so stopping in. There were all these teenagers in there, and I kind of told them what I was doing. And they started having fun with me. I'm like, you want a picture? Selfie? And so they're all there, thumbs up. I was the only one in the DQ. And I'm like, can you give me a double dip? And I guess we could do this. And okay, yeah. So they did. They got me a special double dip. And there I did. I said, you know what? If I'm not going to see the birds, I'm at least going to get some ice cream. So I made it to the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'd been before, but only to see the monuments as a child, so I hadn't really spent a whole lot of time here. Fantastic. I went up Spearfish Canyon. And Spearfish Canyon reminded me of the Rocky Mountains. Driving up out of Boulder up to Estes Park or something like that. And then there was this place, Rough Rock Falls in Spearfish Canyon, well known for American dippers. I had seen that on eBird. I had read all the literature on if you want to see a dipper, which is one of my favorite birds. If there's a favorite Western bird in North America, it's the dipper. So I've got to go see the dipper. And I was really tired when I got here. I'm like, how much do I want to do? I was thinking about spending a quick day there, then going out to Wyoming to see the mountain clover. And I said, you know what? Scrap that. In fact, I've got that right here. Sagebrush sparrow was there too. You can see the little dot. I was right about here. I'd have to go over to here, see those birds down here. And I was like, I'm just too tired. I just want to stay here and spend some time. I need to rest and recoup. So I stayed. I didn't go pursue that. I said I can do that another trip. Wyoming was already over 50 birds from a previous trip. So I was like, no, not going there. I'm going to enjoy Rough Rock Falls. I'm going to sit and watch for this dipper. And that's exactly what I did. This is from at the top of the falls looking down. This is actually a screenshot of one of my videos. This is where I stood on this little overlook looking to the left over at this area. This is the downside of this falls right here. So if you were to turn and look to the right here, it was this big rock canyon wall here. And the arrow is pointing at a nest. There was a dipper nest. I watched the dippers go in and out of the nest carrying nesting material and things. And every time it came out of that, almost every time, it landed on this little green rock. I'm like, that's the perfect spot to aim my camera. So there I sat on this thing. Hundreds of people came by taking pictures of the falls, and I interacted with several of them. There was actually somebody from Borculo, Michigan. And I'm like, what? Are you absolutely kidding me? Borculo. You know Borculo? It's just down the road from here. Strangest things in the world. And that wasn't the only people that I ran. I ran into somebody from Jenison when I was at the south area of Theodore Roosevelt National Park. They're in one of my videos. It was crazy. Running into people from home way far out there. And the son actually had been on, I had led him in a program that spring. So he had been here for a program with me leading it. And they're like, you look familiar. and the dad had been the chaperone. So they both knew who I was. Crazy stuff. So anyways, I sat here and I'm going to quick fly through this. Got some pictures. Here's the picture of the rock. Okay? I have aimed on that rock. Is it going to show up? Yep. Here he is. It took a long time to get that shot. They don't sit still very long, constantly moving, diving into the water, doing their thing, flitting around behind the brush. If you're a photographer, you know active birds, hard to get pictures of, absolutely hard to get a picture of. I did manage, but I spent several hours just sitting there and watching the falls, watching the behavior, recording it in video as well. And here's another picture. You can see these birds have been banded. They actually are doing studies on the dippers of the Black Hills. So fantastic to watch these guys dip around, do their thing. There's a whole video on that, but we're not going to watch that tonight. But I've got that on my YouTube channel, and you can check that out sometime. This one's just set to music. It's also a part of my story, so we're not going to watch that tonight. Almost done. I see it as 8:29, so we're going to wrap this up in the next couple of minutes. And I said, I'm this far, so I've got to stop by the monuments on my way. You know, we're going to do more than just the birds. I had never been to Crazy Horse Monument, nor knew any about the history. This place is fantastic. If you go out to Mount Rushmore, don't ignore Crazy Horse Monument. Anybody been there? Wow. Is it not fantastic? The cultural representation for Native Indian culture across the United States is well represented. It's all run by Native Indian, and they just do a fantastic job. It's a center for learning and for education for tribal people, and it's a way to help them communicate to others about their culture. And it was fantastic. I wished I could have spent more time. I spent more time there than I had budgeted, but I did. And they're making this into this. But it's been going on since the 1950s, I think, is when they started it. They are not funded by the government because they want it to be their own and their own representation of their culture. And so I just get chills thinking about it. Like, I enjoyed this tremendously. If you get out that way, it's not that far from Mount Rushmore. And the experience was way different. You could look at the crowds of people here. Actually, it was kind of sad that there weren't more people there, because the value of this experience was tremendous. And then I went here, and you can see the crowds of people. I'm like, you're just like 45 minutes. This is cool. This is really great, honoring our founding fathers, some of our greatest presidents. But there's this other great cultural resource too. And it was the traditional, summer vacation kind of national park stop. Literally driving in there is like driving into an airport. Literally, it was no different than driving into an airport where you're flying around, you have to park and in a parking ramp and all this stuff. And then you get out and you're like, okay, there it is. And it's like it almost felt like it had lost something. I'd been there when I was 6 years old, and I found the old overlook. They had it labeled and I remembered that. I was like, it was not like this before. There's actually a huge amphitheater. I mean, you can see, I don't know, hundreds, if not thousands of people for shows here and everything. So it's very commercialized from what it used to be. So a lot of people there, very different cultural experiences. I'm glad I did both. But they trapped me for that $10 in parking. I thought I could pull in and, just like whip around and turn around and get a couple of pictures. But no, I'm like, I'm paying $10 in parking. I'm going to go for a walk and go see this place. So I did. And I got a Audubon's warbler out of it. So that's the yellow rump warbler with a yellow throat. So, stopped in the Badlands National Park on the way. Got to, it's right there. Drove through it, and one last stop. Was this my last stop? It was already getting late in the day. I was getting close to 100 species for South Dakota. I was like, I could get to 100 species. So I did. I ran myself to the grindstone, and I got 100 species for the day, including burrowing owls. And I spent quite a bit of time watching these guys out on the prairie, calling and flying around, and watching the prairie dogs too. A lot of fun. And on the way back, I had gotten a suggestion from somebody that I should stop here. Scott and Susan Schmidt. They're not here tonight, are they? Scott and Susan Schmidt, call out to you. Thank you for giving me this suggestion. In Wisconsin, right along the expressway coming from 94 down the south route, across into Wisconsin, is this International Crane Foundation. Worth the stop. It's where they did the captive breeding program for the whooping crane, and it's one of the reasons why it's still not extinct, right? And they had every crane from around the world represented in little habitats like this with information on them. You could get a close-up look at them, and then they had lots of information on the whooping crane itself, too, in the restoration programs that they had, the breeding programs. They actually have buildings where they captive breed the other species, too, that are critically endangered. Many of them are critically endangered. Just a fantastic place to experience. So if you're on your way through Wisconsin, I recommend that you stop there. And that was my one last stop before getting home. So 2 weeks, 3,500 miles later, I got home. You can see you can see my travels all the way around and on back. But my map went from this to this, filled in a couple of gaps, feeling good about that. If you, I'm taking donations for state number 50. So if you want to contribute, take some kind of, I'm going to Hawaii next. My daughter is not letting me go without taking her. So you might have to pay her way too. But if you want to see more, you can go to miottawa.org/birding. If you go to the videos tab down below, click the Birding Adventures playlist, and you'll find these videos of all my adventures there, mixed in with the others. If you want to just look up on YouTube my channel, it's Oven Birder. So oven like you spell oven, and birder like you spell birder, 98. And if you look me up, there's a playlist of all of my videos of the travels in North Dakota, and you're welcome to take a look. With that, I want to thank you for coming and enjoying the mug reveal, and hopefully you enjoyed the presentation too. Thank you, and thank you all for coming. Are there any questions? No questions. Well, I know you all are eager to get your fingers on those mugs, so I will let you all go. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you all for joining online. I appreciate you joining us that way. And if you're double dipping with the OIAS, thank you for also participating here. Sorry for the double dipping there, but really appreciate you joining us online.